Hi everybody, we're going to make these cards because of the coronavirus. We've got to stay home. So if you'd like to have me send you a card kit, which a few of you already have, I'm going to show you how to make the cards and you can do it at home when you're ready. So let's begin. All right, the first card we've got here is this one with the Lilies stamp set. And that one is one of the celebration sets with Stampin' Up. So here we go. Well, let's get started. All right. So what I'm doing is taking each flower that's in the stamp set and stamping it in Blackberry Bliss. And I'm using the paper that's part of the free Stampin' Up celebrations too, just so you know it's very coordinated with the color, the paper. And here's the smaller lily. I'm just stamping those out. And then I'm taking the dies and I bring it over to the Big Shot and I cut them out. And the dies you can buy as well. And so I've already got these cut out. So we will also, while we're cutting things out, there's a large and a small lily pad. And I'm going to stamp those on the green, the garden green paper, using the same Blackberry Bliss stamp ink. Okay. And again, that the dies come with a large and a small die with that set. And then cut those out. All right, and now we will assemble our card. I'm using the gorgeous grape cardstock. It coordinates well with that paper. And it looks like this is the way to go upright because it looks like little small flowers, lily flowers. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on there. Center that, get that on there. And then I did put these on with dimensionals so they're popped up a little bit and look like they're, kind of floating in the water there. So you just take each one, turn it over, and put a dimensional on there. These are the standard size dimensionals. They do have mini as well, and that would totally be appropriate for that one, or you can just cut them. Yeah, they're very nice. They pop things up and make it look really nice. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this. And then I did put dimensionals on the backs of the flowers as well. Two or three to keep it, from sinking down, or, one with the little one. It all works, whatever your preference is. See how those come off. Okay, so we got that part done. Then I have a sentiment on that's part of the set as well, and it says, "With friendly thoughts and best wishes today and every day." Actually, that isn't that set. It's a different set that it came from, but I loved it, so I used it. It is a current set in the catalog. Okay, so it didn't turn out stamped completely out. So then in that circumstance, then I just flip it over and try again. And sometimes, you just kind of press down and it usually works better. I actually want to try it one more time. Maybe I'm not inking it right. I'm moving it around. Okay, let's try this again. So, okay, I'm pressing, and I'm just kind of putting some pressure right on the middle there. Better. Yeah, that's better. Okay. And now these are actually the same size, and I'm just going to layer it so it gives it a little bit of a color off, like a shadowy effect. And I did not put a dimensional on there. I just went flat down to the card. And then the ribbon is what I used here, is the mini striped ribbon. And our color is Gorgeous Grape, and it coordinates with the cardstock. And it's really, really pretty. It's kind of got a little bit of a textured feel to it, if you can kind of see that in the image there. Okay, all I did is I just came around here and just pulled it in and made a little knot right in about the middle. And as I knot, I kind of hold the bottom tie tight as I'm doing the top one, and I just kind of pull it tight. And that comes with a lot of practice and years of making cards. And it's the same way I do my, if I was going to tie a bow on a card, same thing. Okay, there is our little card number 1. And then we will move on to the next card. All right, come on over here. This is a set that came with part of the celebration period, and it's, if you purchase $300, a $300 order, there's a set that comes for free, and it's the Ladybug. And so we were going to make this cute little card with the Ladybug stamp set. So you can see this is raised with the dimensional, and I've already cut it out. But we can show you as we stamp that out. Get a little scrap paper. Now you want to use Memento, because that is what is going to, you won't have any bleeding with your Stampin' Blends, okay? Those are meant for each other. And so you're coloring in the little face with like a light pink. And this one is an old one that I had. I did not have the light pink on hand, so I used an old, it's actually a blendability, but all right. But I am going to make the red with the real red color, so we got the light and the dark. And usually what I do for blending is I go over the entire design with the lighter color, and then you can go add the darker color for accents, highlights, or lowlights, whatever you want to call them. And some people use, like, they'll color it and then they'll leave a little white in there, and that'd be kind of like a highlight, like a little light on something. But I didn't do that for this one. Okay, so we colored it. We cut it out with our die. This one comes with a whole set of dies. All right. Now we'll assemble our card. And we've got our Granny Apple Green here. And we will fold that. And then there's a new embossing folder that you use with your Big Shot, and it's coastal, something coastal, I'm sorry. But I can always look these things up if you need to know exactly the names. But this is very, very pretty. If you can kind of see, the texture of this one. All right, I will adhere this down on the paper. And yes, they are the same color, but sometimes that's what you need, is just to go with what you have, and it's enough to give it some pop, but it's not overly too much color. Okay, and then we have this very nice paper with the poppies, and this is also part of like the poppy suite in the Stampin' Up, the smaller catalog. So, and this is the back side of that one. Oops. Okay, we're just going to line this up. Okay. Now I've got some papers. This is like a 3x3 square of white paper. I am going to stamp the pretty little flower on here, kind of at a little bit of an angle, using that memento, because of course we know that that is perfect for our Stampin' blends, and there will be no bleeding on our paper. We don't want to wreck it with that. Okay, and so I've got some greens on there, and these greens are using the light and dark old olive, and so I do the light first. And then I'm just going to accent with some of the darker one. And then, you know, another tip too is if you wanted to blend this, take your light one again, and you can actually just go over it again, and it does kind of blend that out nicely. Okay, and then the yellow, we've got some yellow in the middle there. We've got some light and dark daffodil delight. And again, I'm just going to kind of go with, I think what I did there is I did the light and the dark on the inside. But this time, how about if I just start with some light, and I'll just accent with some dark. Just put a little color in there. All right, and then we're going to put that 3x3 square on there. Gotta center that. And then my ladybug, we want him to look like he's walking, and got a little dimension there, so we'll put a dimensional on him. She is walking around on top of her flower. Okay. And looking back, so nice and cute. All right, one more step. We're going to be doing some wet embossing. This is dry embossing, where you run it through the machine. This is wet embossing, and I'll walk you through that. I've got some real red paper ready to go. And I have some Stampin' embossing. This is the powder white, the white color. They have other colors like black and silver gold. And then you have two choices. You can actually use your Stampin' pad, the white, because it is a craft. The ink is craft, and it's meant for more than just making an image. Or you can use your Versamark watermark stamp pad. I've got a little one here. But so you can see it easier, we're going to use this white one. The Versamark would be more of a clear, it's harder to see, but it'll work just as fine, just as well. All right. So I'm going to take the Happy Birthday that comes with the little ladybug set, ink it in the white craft ink, and we're going to just put that right down on there. Okay, you can somewhat see it, but you'll see more now here. And then flick that off. There just was a little bit above there that got in there, so you can kind of wipe that off. If you had a brush, that would work too. Then you get your heat gun, And then you just watch it as it heats it and melts the powder. You kind of see how that goes right up the strip. It's really fun watching this stuff dry. And now it's raised and very cute. All right, now I'm going to just make a couple little snips here to make it somewhat of a flag. And we'll put it down and we are done with this card. And there you have it, a cute little ladybug set. I did want to do a sentiment in here, and I chose another sentiment from one of the Poppy sets in the newer catalog. Wishing you every happiness this special day will bring. That's what you want on your birthday, is something like that. This would totally work for, you know, like a graduation card if you would put congratulations on there. It's just, it works well with many, many different things. A new baby even, I could totally see that. So, all right, there it is. Let's move on to the next card. All right, this stamp set I'm getting out here, it's called Rise and Shine. And it's one of those that it's part of the celebrations. They have some coordinating dies that we had in the last holiday catalog, and I believe you can still get those. But this is the card we're going to make with this. And the happy I cut out, we have some different dies in there with, it's a words set and dies with that. So this is part of that. This is all part of the Rise and Shine. And this is just a little heart. Okay, let's start. So we'll start with our base. And this is soft suede cardstock. And we've got some of these little strips. They've got some paper packets in there that they're 6 by 6 in size. And you can just kind of cut them up. They've got the brights, the subtles, and other things in there. Just kind of check that out, or let me know if you need a little help with that. I can certainly help you. Okay, I'm just going to go over the top. Let that sit a minute, and then I can trim it later. Okay. Got my white. And these I made with the rectangular dies, and it gives a nice little stitched edge around it. They're very cute, and you can do things like this, like, you know, frame things out. Okay, so we're going to do with our Granny Apple Green ink, and we're going to stamp that cute little cup out. Now, if you're pretty good at eyeballing, you know, you can just stamp this. I am going to just do it that way, but if you needed to, you could start, you know, with the happy thought, so you kind of knew where to go with it. I'm just going to go for it. All right. Okay, and then do your best to, you know, get all that color off of the ink or the stamp. And I like to use these little foam. Got the Stampin' Up foam pad in there. It gives it some cushion so you can actually push and get the color off. Okay. And then this is another little part of the stamp set. It gives it a little bit of more color. I'm using the Early Espresso ink. And we're just going to add that in there to give it the cup a little bit of something. And then I'm using crushed curry, this yellow color, and I actually took the flower that's in here and I'm stamping it once, and then I'm rotating it like a 45-degree or whatever, and I'm going to stamp it again so it looks like a flower. And we'll do that right in the middle. So 1, and then we rotate a little bit, and 2. And see how that makes it look like a little flower? It's still a flower, it's just a little more full of a flower. Okay, and now I will take this little bit of a roasting, like it's coming off the coffee, and we'll stamp that above to give it a little bit of more cuteness, whimsical. Okay. And I did cut out some hearts with another die I had, so I'm just gonna pick a couple hearts so I can add those on here with some glue. Okay. All right, here's the happy. I'm going to use the Tombow liquid glue here, and I'm just going to do some little dots so you don't have tons of glue everywhere. It doesn't need much, just on the points that are kind of hanging out there that you need to grab. I'll show you what I did here. So not the whole thing, but just on the ends of your letters, just to kind of keep it down. We'll just take happy, and we're going to put happy right here. And at my class, I had both sentiments. I put birthday out and I put thoughts out. And it came from that same, it's a words stamp set, thoughts or birthday, and maybe I'll just do birthday with this one just to have it different. Let's see how well that sits in there. Okay. Ink it up. And then stamp. All right, I have a couple little hearts I want to put on there. I got a little bigger of a one, and I'll put that right here with a little of the glue. Put a small one in the middle. Okay, and that's how we're doing so far. And let me just finish layering this card. And I will use my glue since it's handy here. I can put a little bit. Again, you don't need tons of glue. I'm going to layer it onto my, this is Early Espresso, this dark brown. And again, I'll use my glue. And we're going to put that down here. Kind of go over the little green stripe. So you could see how you could use this with different colors. I could see this with pink, using pink paper there. Pink and brown is really cute together. I love it. And that would really be cute. And maybe this a different color. You could do a lot of things. Think of this as if you were going to emboss this with something. Like this was pink and you embossed it in white. And then this could be brown. I mean, there's a lot of combinations a person could do with this card, this stamp set, and it'd be endless. So the last thing I want to do is I want to trim my ends, and then that card is done, and I'll get my scissors. As I go from station to station, I keep leaving things behind. So you could trim from the front, or you can go to the back so you can see it better and trim it that way. And there you have it. Happy birthday card for those coffee drinkers in your life. All right, we have another set over here. It's another birthday. And it's using this Happy Birthday to You stamp set. Another one from the Celebration, and I love it. It's very versatile. This also has a die you can get with it, and the die actually will cut out these separate. There's another piece, in these, and the cake. You can cut the cake out. Very cute stuff. So, all right, here's our card. And this one I've seen, I've kind of used other people's ideas, and then this is what I came up with my own. All right, we've got our soft sea green, sea foam. It's a very faint green color cardstock. I love it. It's beautiful. Give that a fold. And then here again, we've got more DSP paper from one of the sets. I believe this is the Magnolia Suite. And so we'll just start by putting that little strip down there. And this one is kind of neat. You could probably use it. You know what? I think I'm going to do it that way for this one, so you can see the difference. Sometimes the paper, you have to struggle which side am I going to use because it's so pretty. Okay, now we have our paper, and I'm going to take our memento because again, we're coloring with our blends and we want it to not have any smudges or bleeding. Ink that up nicely, and actually we have a scrap paper here I was going to use. Just double checking here. Okay. And this is how I stamp them. Just apply a pressure, and then you want to make sure that you get in the middle to apply pressure. Lift straight off, and pretty much it'll come out okay. So I did already stamp it and ran it through the Big Shot and cut it out. And this is what I have, because we do want to use dimensionals and pop this up. And I'm using the blends again to color in. We'll start with the greens, and we're using the soft sea foam, the light and the dark. And I found that it does show up, but with the sea foam, it isn't quite as evident as some of the colors of the different shades, but it's just enough to give it some character. We go through all these, pick out the leaves. And sometimes it's hard to determine which is a leaf and which is a petal stem. And then I did do the cake plate with this color as well. Okay, and then we'll add the darker just to give it some highlights. And sometimes you can see where to do a highlight, where they'll put a little mark in the stamp when you stamp it out. That's kind of a good indication of where to put highlights. Or you can do it like in school when we had a still life, and they'll shine a light, and the front of it is light and the back is dark. You can kind of do that too with your flowers or whatever it is you're coloring in. As a rule, I just color the whole thing with the lighter shade and then highlight with the dark. However it fits me that day. I don't have a real rhyme or reason, but I generally go with the lines of the stamp. What I'm using here is the Flirty Flamingo combo, doing the light right now. And then there's some little buds up here that are really cute. So you can kind of grab those, give them a little And then I'll get my dark and do a little highlighting. And you'll see how much that shows. And that's what I was kind of saying with the soft sea foam. You don't see it as well as some of the other ones, but this Flirty Flamingo, you really do see where you've got your highlights, and it's just fun. Okay. Now, before we put this on our paper, I want to use another technique. We're going to take our ink pad, the soft sea foam green color, and I'm just going to get a one of our little foam circular accessories here. Pulling color off of that, just go directly on the pad. And then I'm going to apply it with circular. I'm going to start in the middle and kind of just go out. And you'll see that that really adds a lot. That little subtle color in the back. And I think that's probably enough. And you know what? Before I adhere that, I do want to put my happy birthday on there. Sometimes if you're stamping on all these layers, you're not going to get a good crisp image. So I'll start with the happy birthday, and then I'll have to put the to you after we've got it assembled. But we'll put this at the top. I love the way they wrote this. I don't know if you'd want to call it a font, but I love it. I think it's very pretty. It's elegant, and if you were gonna, give this to one of your friends, that she would love it. This would totally make a nice Mother's Day card. A bridal card for sure. Now see, I didn't bring this over very well, so I didn't show all the prettiness of that paper, but you know what this one looks like. So, okay, let's pop this up with some of our dimensionals so we can actually pop up our little cake. That is our focus of this card. And we'll put one down there. And this one would really be cute. You could totally put like a ribbon in here, like a white ribbon. That would make things, dress it up that much more. Just kind of thinking of a bridal shower, a wedding. This would work for all of that. Okay, so I'm just gonna place this right here and press it down. And then I am gonna add the to you. Now that I can see where my cake is, we're going to put the to you down here. Okay. And the last part of this card is we're just going to add a little bling. These are part of the Peacock suite. We've got some very nice colors. There's like the green and the pink is kind of what I'm focusing on for this card, or actually just the green. But this is so nice for that Peacock cardstock, the DSP. It's just beautiful. Sometimes when they're on the edger, I can just pull them off like that. And there we have it, card number 4. And now we can move over to the 5th card, and we will move over there, and I'll show you that one. Come on over here. All right, this is the 5th card we have. This was really quick and easy using this DSP paper. This is part of the celebration where this coordinates with that punch. The other papers in this pack, there's like tulips and there's umbrellas. Okay. So I'm using I'm drawing a blank on the color here. It's one of the newer blues. So So it's not coming to me. So let's put some adhesive on the back here of this very pretty paper. Center that. We've got some vellum here. And since we can see that we've already, we're going to be putting this in the middle, this is where you would want to put your adhesive, is in the middle, so this will cover it up. So we're just going to do this. And actually, let's see. Yep, that's flat. This is set up with dimensional. So yes, we'll put this down flat. And then, since I don't have to do any coloring, we can use, like your regular ink pads. And I'm going to pick this just for you. Pop that on there. And then, like what I was saying, is we want to put some dimensionals on the back, and then that gets popped up. Okay, and I have already cut out some flowers, and I just kind of pulled colors that were in the paper. That's the best way to do something like this, is just use, they've already done the thinking for us. Use what you have in front of you and go with it. And so then I will get my glue. We'll get our glue on the back here. And all I'm going to do is just put a little glue on there and just start layering. And then with this one in the back, I have to put a little dimensional on it so it kind of stands up with the rest of them. So you can just kind of trim these off if you need a little smaller piece. Like I said, we've got many dimensionals. Sometimes those even need to be trimmed. But I just trimmed it down, and I'm just going to tuck it behind here. And that way it's right up there with the rest of his friends. They're all together. Okay, and I will carry on with doing some flowers here. These I cut out. This is not part of this set. If you had like the punch for this, you could use these and cut them out, and they look larger. But I don't have this punch, so I used a different set and went with what I had. And we'll add one more piece. Okay. Now we have the flowers on, and you really should, add one more little thing, and that is with our little pearl adhesive backed product here. They just add so much. A lot of times I use these other sizes, and this is the perfect time to use our tiny little pearls that are on there. And so you can use a scissors, you can use your pick it up tool, or if you're like me and you're kind of in a hurry or showing, you just pull it off the end, and I just kind of use my fingernail to pull it on, and it will just stay on there. Pull it, get it to the middle, press down. Whoop. Yeah, see, sometimes that happens. It wants to stick to you and not the paper. Good thing there's a lot of them on there. Okay, 3 down, 3 to go. So this set, or this card, could totally, with the colors, could be Easter, could be spring. birthday. What little girl would not like these pretty bright pastel colors? And I did add a little white thread to the back or around the card. That kind of gives it one more little touch. And so we tie the first, and then as I am getting the rest of the loop ready, you're kind of holding that, and it just takes practice, and you kind of make your own little knot there, and then you adjust your loops so it looks cute. And because this is kind of a thinner one, you know, the loops are somewhat flat. Some of the ribbons are fuller, and then they would actually make a nicer loop, but it's flatter, it's easier to mail. So this is the card, and I hope you all enjoyed making these cards with me, and you have a wonderful coming Easter, and take care. Bye-bye.